Malam, look, I mean, please make the lecturer. The lecturer is there. He's here now. So I cannot do
Thank you
that
for
from
that.
my end. Yes.
Thank you for that, brother Habib. I will do. Brother Habib, how do you?
So now, Allah Salam, so lecturer is with us there now. So I think he can start his presentation. Sure.
Okay.
You
Dr.
can start your
Suleiman.
presentation.
Okay.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum
assalam
wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I'm so sorry for keeping you waiting.
You're most welcome, sir.
Okay, so just a minute. I'm trying to show this now. Okay, so I believe you can see my screen now.
Yes, sir, we can see your screen.
Okay, so A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Wassalatu wassalam ala rasulullah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallim. First and foremost, I thank Allah for giving me this opportunity to be here. I thank Him most sincerely for preserving our lives and for making us Muslims and for making us to be able to witness this program. I want to thank the organizer so very much for finding me worthy to talk to you about stress management. Yeah, today is a practical example of stress in my life. You know, I went to a program on Friday. I came back Saturday night. I struggled to take my dinner late. I slept, woke up. I needed to be at a training at Radisson Blue this morning. I left there around few minutes to 7. I started the meeting at home at 7:30. I had to tell them to give me 10 minutes to prepare. While the meeting was still on, I was supposed to start this presentation at 9. So I had to tell the person communicating with me to give me just a few minutes to wind up. Okay, so immediately I finished this meeting, I pray my Isha. I see maybe I want to drink water and go and sleep. Okay, so this is an everyday thing in our lives. Some days come so difficult that we are pressured to do a couple of things that we are not normally used to. So I hope I'm audible enough.
Yes, sir, we can hear you clear.
Thank you. So this slide is telling us about what stress is. And from different definitions all over. Stress is defined as a mental, physical, emotional, and behavioral reaction to any perceived demand or threat. When somebody makes a demand from you and you think that demand, is going to put a stress on you, or this demand is putting stress on you, then you become stressed. The same demand that is put on brother A and is not being stressful for him, when it is put on brother B, becomes stressful for him. So it can be mental, it can be physical, it can be emotional, it can be behavioral. And these are just our reaction to anything that we perceive as a demand beyond us or a threat to our existence. So, the moment a situation becomes a threatening one to us, our body reacts to it normally. And the way it reacts to it is that it suddenly and quickly wants us to prepare a reaction towards that particular action that is threatening us. And there are two things that we usually do. It's either we fight or we flight. That is the response that comes from it. And from the picture, you can see somebody slugging it out and the other person running away. So these are the things that we do when we are faced with a stressful situation. So the physiological response to a stressor is known as reactivity, while a physiological response can accumulate and result in a long term to wear the body. So when you engage in a particular activity, which becomes a kind of reactivity because of a stressor, and you do it for a very long time and it accumulates, then it starts wearing your body, and the signs of stress will start to show on you. Okay, now what makes something stressful for you? It may be stressful for brother A and not stressful for sister B. The first thing is situations that have very strong demand. For example, you are working in a place and there is a demand that by tomorrow morning you must submit the report, and you know that that report will not be ready until after 2 days. Then it becomes a stressful moment for you. Now, when there are situations that are imminent, for example, whether you like it or not, you write an exam. The next thing you have to go for is your results. These results will come out whether you like it or not. So, when you know that the result will come, if the result is not favorable, it puts a lot of stress on you. So, the situation that is imminent, whether you like it or not, if you go and do an HIV test, or you go and do a kidney test, or you do a heart test, and the result is coming, it puts a lot of pressure on you. Also, it's life transition. When you are moving from a particular stage in your life to another stage, that kind of situation can give you some stress. For example, maybe you are packing from one location to another location, and you have to move things. It becomes a stressful moment. Then timing can also become a stressful situation for you. For example, you have to write an exam. The exam is about an hour, and you are still in a location that's going to take you about 1.5 hours to get there. So if you are driving or you are in the bus, public transport, anybody around you know that there is something that is stressing you up. Then ambiguity, desirability, controllability. These are things that can actually make you to become stressful when a situation is out of your control, when you desire something and you cannot achieve it, when a situation becomes so ambiguous that you really don't know your left from your right. Now, the real sources, no, those ones are situations that can bring up, some stressful moments in your life. But the real sources of stress, are some of these points. Are you or are your co-workers resistant to change? If you are the boss and you are trying to bring about some change and the people working with you are not ready for the change, it's a source of stress. You will not know that you are being stressed. Or maybe you find yourself in a situation where the environment or the work environment is changing and you are not ready to change. That is the real source of stress for you. Again, is when there's a skill that you are lacking and it's the skill that you need. That's another real source of stress for you. Now, when you compare short-term discomfort with long-term satisfaction, this also is a real source of stress. And how do I mean here? There is what is called gratification. Gratification is your ability, delayed gratification is your ability to go through discomfort to get a long-term, satisfaction. Now, when you now compare what you are going through and it's not commensurate, I'm just going through stress and the future does not look like it is going to be satisfying. Even if the stress, the situation you have, the short-term discomfort is something that is just taking 10% of your ability. And the long-term satisfaction that you desire is not there. Then you start getting stressed up. Same scenario. The discomfort you are going through is taking 80% of your ability, of your strength. But because you know that there is a long-term satisfaction that is ahead of you, at times you don't feel it. You don't feel the stress. So when you go through a discomfort and the long-term satisfaction is not there, then it becomes a real a real source of stress. And finally, here is the question whether you feel appreciated or not appreciated. No matter what, it takes a very strong personality to overlook, appreciation. Very few people will work, and when they are not commended, they care less, and they just keep doing what they have to do. But majority of us want a little appreciation, no matter how small it can be. So when appreciation is not coming, it's a stressor in itself. It's a real source of stress for us. Am I making any sense here?
Very well, sir. Yes, sir.
I need the response. Am I making any sense?
Yes, sir. We are with you. You are making sense.
Yes, sir.
Oh, thank you for the feedback. Now, it is not all stress that are bad. It is not all stress that are bad. Good, thank you. It is not all stress that are bad. There is what is called distress. Distress is a continuous experience of feeling overwhelmed, oppressed, and feeling of being behind in your responsibility. Now, this is an all-encompassing sense of being imposed upon by difficulties with no light at the end of the tunnel. Now, stress is a normal thing that we all need. Stress is what gives us the ability to escape from danger. Stress is what gives us the ability to dodge a danger, to run for our life when we are in difficulty. But distress is actually what gives us challenge in our life. And this is when you continuously experience a feeling of being overwhelmed. Once in a while you can feel overwhelmed, you get over it, you move on. Once in a while you can feel oppressed, you get over it and move on. Once in a while you are behind in your responsibility, and the moment you are able to cover up, you move on. But when this thing becomes incessant, you know, when you walk in a place and you feel oppressed. I once had this kind of experience. I worked with a DFA, you know, almost that's around 2005. And anytime I'm driving into the office area, my heartbeat increases. Because, you know, I feel oppressed the moment I get there. Normal closing hours for me is 4 p.m. But that particular DFA will tell me not to go. I have to wait until about 6. All other colleagues will go, but I will have to wait. I feel oppressed. Even at that time, I was already on maybe level 12 or level 13. And this DFA will send me to go and do the work of a clerk. Like, go and buy me a bar, and buy this, and buy that. Or, okay, go and drop this letter somewhere. And this is not what I should do. So I feel oppressed. So I have this feeling of distress at that particular time until relief came. So anytime you feel overwhelmed continuously, you feel oppressed continuously, or you feel you are lacking behind in your responsibility continuously, then you are going to, you know, experience distress. Other examples are, you know, financial difficulties. When you have conflict in relationship, when you have excessive obligations that you have to give, when you are managing a chronic illness, or when you are experiencing, you know, a trauma, and that trauma refuses to go. So eustress is a form of stress that is positive and beneficial. That we may feel challenged, but the source or sources of the stress are opportunities that are meaningful to us. Again, I gave this example. 2016, I started my PhD. I had to go to Abuja. I had to go to the library. I have to leave work and go to the library. You know, I have to bury my head down to do a lot of bench work. I have to travel to all the states in the southern part of Nigeria to, you know, do my survey. And I didn't find all these things as a distress, because I'm seeing this as opportunities to develop myself and change my status in society. So I wasn't stressed. I never felt distressed. But I felt that, you know, this kind of eustress. I'm going through some difficulties, but I'm happy to go through it because I know that things are going to change after a while. So when you graduate from a college, the period in which you are reading to graduate from the college is, you know, a kind of distress on you. But it becomes a eustress when you know that in a few years to come, I'm going to graduate. When you are getting married, you make a lot of preparations. But you know one day this will come to an end. When you are receiving promotions, when you are changing job, and the pay is better, the work environment is better, what you go through is a form of eustress. So we have different kind of responses that we bring into stressful situations. When we have a situation that is distressing us, we have some responses that we give. It can be physical, it can be behavioral, it can be mental, it can be emotional. Now, what is stressful to you? I want you to look at the list that is there and write down. Out of all these things, just write the ones that you feel are giving you stress. I can give you about a minute to just look through and make your jottings. Then I'll come back to it in a moment. Is it work? Is it classes? Is it reading, studying? Is it a relationship with your partner? Or a relationship with your family? Or a relationship with your friends? Or are you going through a particular trauma, something you witnessed when you were a child, and it's still, affecting you? Is it a change in residence that, makes you stressful? Is it a change in the amount of social activities? Is it your roommates that are giving you problem? Is it the child care? Maybe you are a mother. Is it finances? You are a man and you can't cater for your family. Is it your appearance that is giving you stress? Is it your physical health? Is it that you have this feeling that you are not fitting in anywhere, or a particular place you are not fitting in and you have to go there? Or is it getting married that is giving you stress? Is it changing to a new school or eating habit that's giving you stress? Is it legal matters? Is it mental health? Is it a law violation? Is it a spiritual issue or religious issue that is giving you stress? Are there major career decisions that you have taken or you want to take that is giving you up? Is it attitude and thoughts? Is it buying a house or buying a land? Is it a change in your recreational activity that is giving you stress? Is it a death of a family? So we can go on and on and on and on. Just look at some of these things that are here and write down the ones that are giving you stress. And if you can also, pinpoint some of the things that are not listed here, but you look at your life and they are giving you stress, you can just note them. Have we done that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so can I have maybe about 3 people? Don't mention your name. Just tell us about 2 major things that are giving you stress. I'm trying to note. Anyone?
Yes. For me, studying and my physical fitness.
Okay, studying and physical fitness. So you mean you don't like exercises?
Not really. I feel I'm growing bigger than I want.
Oh, okay. Physical fitness. All right. All right. Okay, another person?
Frequent traveling.
Is there another person that wants to tell us?
Someone said frequent traveling.
Okay.
Someone drop a chat that childcare.
Yes.
Check this.
Okay. I'm trying to check the chat box too. Child care. Oh, that should be a mother. All right. Okay. Okay. Thank you for your meeting up with financial needs, staff salary, children's need, rent, and the likes. Brilliant. Perfect. Okay. Okay, like I said before, whatever you have chosen for yourself, just check whether these two conditions or these reasons are responsible for them. Now, do you perceive a situation as dangerous, difficult, or painful? Secondly, is it that the challenge that you are having, you don't have enough resources to cope for it, to cope for them or cope with them? Now, when you have these two, then we get stressed out. For example, the person that mentioned physical fitness, maybe you are growing bigger and you are eating all sorts of things, and your mind is telling you, all these things you are eating, all these things you are eating, you just come down with one health challenge, and before you know it, in your subconscious mind, this thing will come, you will think about them, and you just see that you are being stressed out. At times, you can just lie down and you don't feel like doing things. Now, for financial, you have, I know a sister that cries a lot. And why? Because she's the firstborn. She does a work where she takes about 20,000 naira. Our younger ones are still going to school. Our parents are aged. They have health challenges. They have feeding issues. And now, even the 20,000 she collects is not enough for her. So anytime they call on her, she's stressed out. And all she will do is to start crying. So when you have limited resources, and that can barely go for whatever you are going through. Yeah, I just saw on the chat box that I have 30 minutes. I didn't know. Okay, so now there are some red flags. There are things that you need to see, warning signs that tells you that stress is already creeping into your life. That these things, if you don't take care of them early, is going to become stressful for you in future. And what are the symptoms? Loss of self-confidence. When you start losing self-confidence in yourself, in some things, it shows that there are signs of, stress coming to you. When you have apathy for some things, especially things that, ordinarily you should show interest in. When you get easily irritated and people around you start wondering, why are you always, sending people away from you? Why are you always complaining about what people are doing? Why do you feel so irritated, Then when you start experiencing some emotional and motivational imbalance, time when you are supposed to be motivated, you are not motivated. Something that they do that should make you happy, you are not happy. Something that they think is going to annoy you is not annoying you. Your emotions becomes unpredictable. We really don't know, you yourself don't know what is going to motivate you. Then when you start experiencing some level of anxiety, then, it becomes serious, more sneakier, when you start losing interest in things that you typically enjoy to do. For example, maybe you love to travel, and all of a sudden, you just lost interest. Then when you start, going towards substance abuse, because you feel down and you want to take something to make you high. When you start showing a diminished interest in social relationships, you hardly call your friends any longer. You don't really go out for any social gathering. So when you also have this feeling of less detached from, to the outcome of anything. Nigeria is playing a qualifying match for the World Cup, and Nigeria lost the match, and for you, nothing. Even though initially, before this period of the symptoms for stress that is you are seeing in yourself, you usually get excited about it. But now you are less concerned about the outcome of anything that is happening. And when your passion, diminishes, these are signs. And so these things will now start to show in your well-being. And the first is the physical indicators of mental stress that you see. When you are stressed mentally, because this is how it starts, and you start seeing signs in yourself physically. You are stressed mentally, but you are seeing some physical signs in yourself. When you have facial tautness, when your muscles start to ache you or become stiffened, or you start observing some tension in your muscles. When you start sweating profusely, when ordinarily you don't sweat. When your hands becomes a bit clammy, you feel water, or you start feeling some coldness in your hands. When you start, blinking rapidly, and this is not what you used to do before. When you start to tap your feet, or you shake your leg, or you make your hand to start drumming something, and these are things you don't do before. Like for me, if I sit down in the house and I'm doing Askar, I won't be just stationary. I will be moving my leg, and my wife has observed it, that often the time I do this. But if I don't do it before, it's not part of my attitude or my habit, but all of a sudden you start doing it. When you start having constant headache, when you start having sleeping problems, when you start, have this feeling of dizziness over time, and when you experience fatigue, and when at times you feel nauseated, you feel like you want to vomit, and when you start having rashes or hives or all sort of skin disorder, these are physical indicators that you are going through mental stress. And if you check your blood pressure, you will start to realize that maybe you are going on the high side. Okay, so there are some risk factors, and these risk factors, there are some that we can control, and there are some that we cannot control. And these risk factors are things that are going to give us some stress. High blood pressure, you can control it. You need to watch what you eat. What you do that gives you high blood pressure. Checking it regularly. High cholesterol, cigarette smoking, being obey. Then when you are diabetic. Then when you have a high stressed environment, these are things that you can control. And there are others that you cannot just control, like age, like gender, like heredity. You can't control them, but these are risk factors, because there are some stress that comes with age, there are some stress that comes with gender, and there are some stress that comes with your, with your heredity. So when you don't do exercise, when you lack exercise, when you lack proper nutrition, when you lack good sleep, and you don't have, a good sense of judgment most of the time, these things are going to add up to your risk factors. And there are some things that we can do that can reduce our stress level. And you know why this is important? Because somebody said that to be prepared is half the victory. And there's another saying that says that we are no good to others if we don't care for ourselves. You understand? We are no good to others if we cannot actually care for ourselves. So, how do we do? What do we do to reduce this stress? I'm trying to wind up now. The first one is you need to find a support system. Find somebody you can talk to about what you are feeling. You don't get bottled up. You know, I still met somebody today that told me that he needs to talk to me. And after talking to me, he said, I felt relieved. I felt relieved. And that's one thing. When you find somebody you can trust that you can talk to about what you are going through, is a very good way of reducing your stress. Secondly, is that you need to change your attitude. Find other ways to, find other ways to think about stressful situations. And there is this saying that, life is 10% of what happens to us, and 90% how we react to it. And there is this example in this next slide that will come to after this. I don't want to waste time on this 90-10 principle, but just let's look at it from this example. Now, you actually scold your daughter for knocking a cup over, maybe in the morning. In the morning, you prepare to go to work, and just like you are trying to sit down on the dining table, your daughter, just knock off a cup of tea or water, and this thing splattered on your clothes. So you actually scold your daughter for knocking the cup over. Okay, so this is the case note here. Is that you are having breakfast with your family, and your daughter knocks a cup of water, or a cup of tea rather, onto your business shirt. You have no control over what just happened. You have no control over what happened. But what will happen after that is your reaction to it. So what happened is just 10%. Your reaction is 90%. That is what we're trying to explain here. You cannot control traffic lights while you are driving, but you can control your reaction to it. For example, the traffic light stops you around Alausa and you refuse to stop because you are in a hurry. You just went, and then the camera catches you, and the next thing you see is an alert. You have to go and pay 40K. They say, for what? What did I do? And you start blaming government, speaking ill of Sanwo-Olu, and start abusing this. And everything you now go through now takes 90% of what is happening to you. Okay, 2 more minutes, no wahala. Let me just run through this example then.
Thank you, sir.
So if the cup of tea now, pour on your business shirt, what do you have to do? The first reaction I was trying to read before is that you actually scold your daughter for knocking the cup over. She breaks down into tears. After scolding her, you turn to your spouse and you criticize her for placing the cup too close to the edge of the table. Then a short verbal battle followed between you and your spouse. Then the next thing you do is that you go upstairs to go and change your clothes. You come back downstairs, and while your daughter is crying, you care less. You didn't even finish your breakfast, or you didn't take your breakfast, and you just decide to start going to work. And your daughter also does not finish her breakfast. She kept crying. She misses the school bus, and the next thing is you rush into your car. You drive your daughter to school. You drop her without even saying bye-bye. Then you start driving to your own workplace, and you overspeed, and the traffic signs catches you, gives you a fine of £200 or $200 or 10,000 naira, and you get to work. You didn't even greet people, and later you realize that you left your briefcase at home. and you have a business meeting that you need to attend to, and all the document that you need is in the briefcase that you left at home. So what gave you a bad day? Was it the coffee that caused it? Was it your daughter? Was it the policeman that caught you when you broke the traffic light? Or did you cause it yourself? The truth of the matter is that you caused it because it was a reaction that gave birth to all of that things. But look at the second reaction, and I will stop here. The second reaction is that, okay, the tea pours over you, your daughter is scared and is about to cry, and you just tell your daughter, it's okay, there, it's okay, don't worry, just be careful next time. Then you take a towel, you go upstairs, you change your clothes, you clean your body, you take a new shirt, you carry your briefcase, you come down, you look through the window and see your child, catching the school bus. Then after that, you take your dinner, your breakfast, you say goodbye to your wife, and you drive to office without any policeman catching you, and you are even 5 minutes, early to the office. You greet all the staff that met you on the road. Your boss commented that, oh, you're having a very good day, and you successfully have your business meeting. So I'm sure you have noticed a difference between these two scenarios. So the point I'm trying to make here is that whatever is the case, whatever you are going through in terms of stress, your reaction to it really, really matters. And I want to believe that I can send these slides to you. You can go through the other points and see how you can actually reduce stress in your life. And this is what we really need. We really need us, especially Muslims, to take care of our health, take care of our stress, so that we can live long enough to be able to share experience with those coming behind us. Because when we die out of stress with all our experiences, all our life experiences, it is nothing that can be bought, nothing that can be ever regained again. I pray that Allah will give us the wherewithal to be able to manage our stress life and manage our health, and may Allah give us long life to be able to share wonderful experiences with those coming behind us. And I pray that Allah will give us that good health while we are still agile to be able to do great and wonderful things in our life. I thank you so much for giving me this opportunity, and I apologize for coming on late. I also apologize for taking too much of our time. Wassalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu. Thank you so much, Dr. Sulaiman Ogumoyiwa, for the well researched and well presented lecture. We pray Almighty Allah accept this you've done today, or Almighty Allah add this you've done today to your scale of goodness on the day of judgment. Amen. We are also sorry we didn't give you enough time to go through all the slides you prepared. We are short of time. Our plan is to spend only 1 hour on this session of the program. So without wasting our time, I'm going to be entertaining only one question. Sir, we have this question here that says, how do we differentiate between depression and stress?
Okay. They are quite, they are, like Ahmedida will say, they are chalk and cheese. They are poles apart. So when you talk about depression, that is a mental disorder. Stress is not a mental disorder. Stress is simply, a situation that you are going through, that is putting pressure on you, that is making you to feel excited or agitated. But when you have too much distress, and this thing is having impact on your psychology, and you find it difficult to manage, You are not doing anything to step it down. You are not talking to someone. You are not doing exercises. You're not watching your what do I say, your health, your diet, and you start keeping to yourself. You try to manage this thing on your own. Then the far-reaching implication is that you not you now start to get depressed. Okay. Now I'm just trying to bring a kind of difference, a kind of a line between the two. But before you can now say somebody is depressed, it means that person, mental ability has been distorted. That's just my simple explanation.
Thank you so much, sir, for providing an answer to the question. So now I'm going to be concluding the program. We appreciate us all for coming. We pray Almighty Allah accept this we've done from us all as act of worship. Amen. And information before we go for the members of Legacy Forum. Please, immediately after this session, we shall be having a discussion. We can use the link on our platform sent by Malam Habib Haudu. So we shall be reciting Surah Al-Asri together to conclude this session of the program.
Okay, before you recite Surah Al-Asri, so sorry, I have seen a lot of comments on the chat box. I want to appreciate every one of you for coming on to listen to me and for the good words that you have extended to me. I thank the organizer sincerely. I always feel humbled when I see comment like this. I just want to appreciate you and I thank you and I really feel humbled. Jazakumullah khair.
Wa iyyakum, sir. Jazakumullah khairan for coming.
I appreciate you, sir. Thank you so much.
Assalamu alaikum.
I also thank my Sheikh from Malaysia. Thank you, Sheikh, for following me.
Ustaz Habib, can I end the meeting?
Yes, you can end the meeting. All right.